Hello, welcome to another episode of Cotton. Today, my guest is Paranjoy Guhathakorta, and he is uh, he's an author, he is a journalist, and he is also a filmmaker. And he's a very actually whenever he studies something, he's an he investigate things very seriously. And so I think in 2019 he wrote this book. This is the real face of Facebook in India. And I read this book and I was very interested, and I found it very absorbing and very interesting. And it was very fascinating book. And thereafter, recently I read another book, and this is called Careless People, a story of where I used to walk, Power, Greed, Madness. And this one is by Sarah Winnie Williams. And Sarah Winnie Williams, she was till recently, till I think 2024 or so, she was the director, global public policy, Facebook. She worked with Mark Zuckerberg in its central office, and she's an insider, and she witnessed what was going on in the Facebook corporate office. So now, Paranjoy, today I would like to discuss this social media as a whole. And at the beginning, if I could ask you, what do you mean by social media? What is social media?
Thank you very much, Shri Paresh Malakar, for having me on your program once again, and my best wishes to all the viewers and all those who are listening to what I have to say. Let me also thank you for talking about a book that was published, 2019, sometime in March. And it is available in Hindi, it's available in Bangla, it is available in Marathi. And one time I thought it would be available in Punjabi, Gurmukh script, but that has not happened. Unfortunately, not in Ohomia. Not there. But anyway, a lot, I will tell you about the book and Facebook and the insider story and the whistleblowers a little later. Your first question is, what is the social media?
Yes.
We had many centuries ago, several centuries ago, Gutenberg, who set up the printing press. That was, in my opinion, the first medium of mass communication. Then came radio, then came cinema, then came television. And very few of us could have imagined, even 30 years ago, how the internet would change human society. The internet is your newspaper, your weekly magazine, your book. It's your radio station, it's your television channel, and it's much more. It is not just a medium of mass communication, it is also a medium of personalized communication. So you can communicate directly with one person. You can buy something, you can sell something anywhere in the world. So the internet has changed humanity in ways that we could never have imagined. Today, as we talk, there are over 8 billion, over 1 crore people who live on this planet Earth. And according to the latest statistics, 2 out of 3 persons, the citizens of planet Earth, have used the internet at least once. If you look at even the last 4 years, the total number of users of the internet have gone up from 2.9 billion or 290 crore to 5.4 billion or 540 crore. This is just in the last 4 years. Even before that, there was a huge expansion. Second point is, even those who have not used the internet, their lives are being impacted by the internet. Suppose there is a very poor person without a mobile phone or with a very basic mobile phone living in some remote part of Assam. Now, this person, she has learned that the government is giving some subsidy, some scheme has been opened. But for that, she has to open a bank account. She needs the internet to open a bank account. Otherwise, these days, it's difficult. And so the internet is influencing her life, though she has not used the internet. That's a limited point I wanted to make. 30, 35 years ago, those who set up the internet, they thought it would change human society. It would democratize Indian society. It would weaken the dictators. It would empower ordinary people. But what we found is they themselves realized, like Tim Berners-Lee, Vinton Cerf, these are among the founding fathers. They're called the grandfathers of the gurus of the internet. They found that the internet had been dominated just by a few corporations. Just take two as an example. You have Meta. Meta includes Facebook, it includes WhatsApp, and it includes Instagram.
Instagram.
It has been founded by Mark Zuckerberg, who is in his early 40s. You take another giant conglomerate. These are among the biggest conglomerates. The people who we are naming are among the richest people in the world. So you have Alphabet Incorporated. That includes Google with its range of services. You also have YouTube, which is by far the biggest, audiovisual medium on the internet. And you also have the Android operating system. The Android operating system, most telephones, barring those who use Apple phones, have an Android operating system. So here you are seeing the founders of Google, the founders of Alphabet Incorporated, are people in their early 50s. So you see these people, look at the kind of control they have over what you watch, what you hear, what you see. So they have monopolizing communications the world over. So then when you look at social media, you look at Facebook, or you look at the services of Google, or you look at Twitter, which is now called X, which was bought up by the world's richest man, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Close to Donald Trump. Now, you see, they are playing a huge role in shaping human society. Many would say there are very positive aspects. Of course, there are positive aspects, but there are also very, very negative aspects. And therefore, I would say that what to me is a very, very major negative aspect is how people have become addicted to it.
Now we shall come to that. We shall come to that.
Okay, you come to that.
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to say, when you talk about social media, you talk about media that enables you to connect with society. Earlier media also do. But you didn't call a newspaper a social medium. You didn't call radio a social medium, or television or cinema. So the name, this is just a name, a nomenclature. So within the internet, you have different types of services, and the social media is one of them, including Facebook, including the micro-blogging site, Twitter, also known as X, and other such platforms. They are digital platforms that are being dominated by just a few giant corporate conglomerates based in the United States, based in California in the United States. So this is my long answer to your short question.
Social media. So now we know actually that social media, see, as you have explained it, that 800 million people, and almost all of them, or majority of them,
800 crore.
800 crore.
8 billion.
Yeah,
8 billion.
800 crore people, almost all of them are
2
using.
out of 3, sir. 67%.
So 67% of 800 crore people, they have been using social media in various forms. So that means, and as you say, that social media, even if someone, a very poor person in a remote corner of Assam, even if he is not using social media, he is getting affected by social media.
And I would say internet. The internet, and of the internet, a large part of the internet is the social media.
Social media. So now thing is that you have of course answered that question. Now how, but then this time I would like to be much more specific on this. How is it actually affecting our society, culture, and politics? Society,
Yeah.
society, you have to an extent you have answered, but how is it affecting our culture and politics?
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, giant corporations like Meta, like Alphabet, Meta is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Alphabet is Google, YouTube, Android. They are exerting a huge influence on what people are watching, what people are reading, and what people are listening to. Now, this has had a very profound impact on human society. Your choices. It goes beyond, whether you like a particular kind of food. Do you like noodles or would you like dosa? It goes beyond your preference for a singer. Do you like Kishore Kumar or do you like Mohammad Rafi? It goes beyond your preference for an actor. Do you like Deepika or do you like Alia Bhatt? It goes even beyond that, as has been written by American scholar Shoshana Zuboff. They are able to predict your behavior. Who will you vote for? Will you vote for the Congress? Will you vote for the BJP? Or will you vote for somebody else? They can anticipate through your preferences who you're likely to vote. They cannot 100% predict who you will vote for, but they will try and anticipate it through your reading habits, through your listening habits, through your viewing habits, whether you are favoring one political party over another political party. And this is why the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, which has been in power for 11 years since 2014, they gave a lot of emphasis on
Can,
this.
I disturbed your flow, but then I just wanted to make one point. Can you say that actually the social media, it's almost like an X-ray, mental X-ray, that it actually goes inside us. It not only says in what mental state we are, it can even wish we are not. It can even predict the future thing
Yes.
from the existing state. They can even say that okay, this is what they are, where they are now, and
Okay.
they may go in that direction.
All right. Precisely. You have been able to explain this. This is exactly what I was trying to explain to you. They are anticipating your behavior. They are trying to predict not just what you will buy, what song you will hear, but also who you might vote for. So it is predicting human behavior. Now, this is the point that I want to make. In my opinion, we talk about lifestyle diseases, cancer. Earlier, it was tuberculosis. Then it became cancer. Then it's diabetes. In my opinion, addiction to the screen, the social media, has also become, for some people, or I should say for many people, a disease. Let me explain. An alcoholic who's addicted to alcohol, if in the
They have
evening,
to drink.
he does not have his whiskey or rum or gin, his hands are going to shake. So today, you tell a person, young, middle age, old, do not watch the screen on your mobile for 24 hours. You'll be surprised.
He'll go mad. He'll
Yes,
go
you'll
mad.
be surprised that how many people say, no, how can I do that? I said, detoxify yourself. If an alcoholic is drinking too much, I said, don't drink And after some time, your body will be rejuvenated, the toxicity will go away. So that's what I say. Then people ask, what will I do for 24 hours? I said, come on, go take a walk, climb that mountain, go for a swim, read a book,
Read a book.
listen to some nice music that you like. Just don't look at that mobile or that screen. So I think that the addiction to that screen, and with it becomes the social media, is become a disease among large sections of the population. Those of your viewers who haven't seen this documentary film, which is available on Netflix, it's called The Social Dilemma, can see this. And those who are interested in a more detailed academic scholarly work may read a book by Professor Shoshana Zuboff. It is called Surveillance Capitalism.
Yes, yes, yes. The other day also, in the
Yeah,
last episode also, we
that's
discussed that
right.
book. Yeah,
The
yeah.
fight for a human future at the new frontier of power. One last point I want to make before you can ask me more questions. Today the biggest number of users of WhatsApp is in India. Over 850 million. 850 million. That is 85 crore. We have a country of 145 crore, roughly. Do you know that the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, the government of India's body, if you look at the number of subscriptions, you will find it is over 115, close to 120, 20 million. Sorry, 120 crore, not million, 120 crore. What does this mean? That is the number of SIMs that have been issued. What is a SIM? SIM, Subscriber Identity Module. What does this mean? That in most parts of the country, no longer confined to urban areas, cities like Guwahati or Kolkata or Bombay or Mumbai or wherever, but even in not even in small towns, but in villages, in the rural areas, there are more SIMs than human beings. So this is the reality of the social media that we are living in. And India is the biggest user. Indians are the biggest user of WhatsApp, the end-to-end encrypted service. And one last point that I wanted to make, in the case of, say, WhatsApp, the China doesn't allow WhatsApp. So we are the biggest user. And like all social media, and this is what is mentioned in that documentary film in the book, there are only two categories of people who provide you a service or sell you a good, who describe their consumers, ubhokta, as a user. And that is those who sell drugs and alcohol, and those who are selling you a social media service. So it is appropriate that we should compare the usage of the social media to a kind of a drug, which some people have got addicted to.
Yes,
Many
that's
people, I should say,
yes,
many people are addicted to it, including me. Sometimes I am addicted to it. First
yes,
thing I do, I wake up in the morning, I look at my
yes.
mobile.
See the phone.
Last thing I do
Yes,
at night before I go to sleep, I see them
yes,
as if I don't watch it, something will happen.
yes,
I'm
yes. As if the day doesn't begin without the phone, and the day does not end without the phone. No. So it is the influence of social.
One minute. I just forgot to give you the source of my information. All those numbers I gave, 540 crore users of the net, 290 crore users of the net in 2021. This is data from the ITU, International Telecommunications Union. And this is a body under the United Nations. It's part of the United Nations family of organizations. And India is, of course, a member of the ITU. Sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
Okay. So now what I was telling is that means we know that it is the social media has become almost a drug. It's almost a drug, and most of the people, by and large, to some extent, addicted to social media, like you, like me. Now, uh, see, and you also spoke about about the role of social media in politics. And actually, you wrote in detail in your book. But now my question is actually what provoked you to write this book?
You
This
know, some,
the real face of Facebook in India.
you know,
Why did you? Yeah,
Cyril, Sam, and I, we were
yeah,
very,
both of you.
both of you, we wrote it together, and we were very, very concerned how WhatsApp was influencing all aspects of our lives, politics, entertainment, you name it. So we were putting together this book, and interestingly, we wrote a series of articles on the subject, which later became chapters of the book for NewsClick. At that time, uh, I was no, I still am a consultant with NewsClick, but NewsClick itself is not exactly in the way it was a few years ago because of various reasons. That's another story altogether. But Cyril, Sam, and I felt we should tell people before the 2019 elections what was happening, how the BJP was able to use the social media, how it had become a propaganda weapon, how it was being used to spread misinformation and disinformation. You can be genuinely misinformed, but disinformation is like propaganda. You know something's false, but still you're putting out. And we give so many examples. We wrote to Facebook, we give their answers also. But the point I'm making, our book had no influence on the election outcome. If you will recall, in 2019,
Yeah,
the Bharatiya Janata Party returned to power. Mr. Modi was sworn in as Prime Minister of India for the second time, more stronger. The vote share of the BJP went up. The number of seats in the Lok Sabha went up to 303. So our book clearly had no influence, though it was available in Hindi, it was available in English, it was available in Bengali. In Bengali, we had another person assisting us, helping us with the translation. His name was Orko Deb. Be that as it may, the point is we wrote the book because we wanted people to know. After we wrote the book, you pointed out the book, you yourself have pointed out a book. There were several whistleblowers. I interviewed Sophie Zhang. She also worked in Facebook. And then she left Facebook and she was so disappointed. She went to the extent what had happened in Myanmar. And Facebook looked the other way. Just the same title of the book that you talked about. They know what is going on, but they pretend they're not seeing anything. You know, as Gandhiji's sort of famous three monkeys, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. It is happening in front of your eyes. And you know what Sophie Zhang said? And she wrote it down. And when I interviewed her, she told me how it was working. All the people who were spreading fake, false news, he said, there is blood on my hands. There's blood. Mark Zuckerberg and those who set up this organization, they have blood on their hands. Because
this
that whole social media was misused and people died and people were killed. Paresh Babu, if you look at the last 10, 12 years, every single instance of mob lynching that has taken place in India,
yes,
there are
that was engineered by this Facebook.
no, there are these WhatsApp messages are there. I don't know
Yes,
who
what's
engineered it. And you know, as in the case which is given in the book about a Muslim laborer in Rajasthan who was burnt alive and filmed, and it went viral. A man being killed. I mean, can you imagine what kind of society we are?
well,
Man is
yeah,
being burned to death, and it is being shown. And when the police people asked WhatsApp, please tell us who made the video, who shot it. They said this is against our technical architecture cannot give you this information.
yeah.
End to end encrypted. Now, this is something which is interesting because across the world, in India and everywhere, whether you're left wing or right wing or centrist, you're saying you should be accountable. You
Yes.
should tell us if somebody has put out information in any form, video or otherwise, which is leading to the crimes being committed, heinous crimes of murder, of rape. Isn't the medium those who are responsible for spreading this? Are they not responsible? They have provisions called safe harbor. This is a very, very complicated subject. But the short point is, WhatsApp said we can't do anything. We can't do anything if somebody misuses. Now, there are these community standards. You can block them. I'm trolled every day. Suppose somebody says MCBC. As an Indian, you know what he's talking about, what MC means, what BC means. But that algorithm may not recognize it. They say MC, oh, master of ceremonies. BC, what is BC? Before Christ. So, these are machines, these are algorithms. And that is what is happening. And we felt that we needed to explain to people how social media platforms like Facebook, how they are acting in India. That is the purpose of us writing the book.
Good, great. No, this is as you said, no. Now, how this WhatsApp and Facebook actually, how misinformation was disinformation was actually spread out. Now, this lady, she wrote graphically about this Myanmar, that Rohingya, how they were being actually killed there, and how it was through WhatsApp and Facebook, particularly Facebook. What happened? So there is sort of graphic description and what happened in other countries, in actually in US itself and in many other countries of the world. So how Facebook just remained spectator, silent spectator, and they just observed. And this lady, when she actually first she came to Facebook, she was right that there should be some responsibility, some accountability, some policy. But finally, she was tired, and the kind of things happen in the Facebook itself, in their work culture, and how actually sexual abuse was taking place, how she herself became victim of the sexual harassment. And another thing, actually, I have observed
I
in
will
this.
also say for your readers, since we have mentioned several books, I'll just show you another book. This has also recently come out. It is Routledge, The WhatsApp India Story. It's by Sunetra Sen Narayan and Shalini Narayanan. And this also tells you the WhatsApp story in India. I just thought I will mention it.
Yeah, good, great. So now another thing is that actually, so these people, the in your book, in the preface of your book, uh, Professor Apurvanand, he said that we need to discuss that part also, the data. What is data? And he said that actually data, the personalized information, data is almost like oil. And I'm going a little one step ahead, that it is not even oil, it is almost like gold.
Okay.
It's gold.
Okay.
So I would like you to enlighten on this. That
Yes.
this data, the
I mean, this is a huge subject, but I'll give you a short response to what you said. A British mathematician and data scientist and entrepreneur, his name was Clive Humby. Okay, Clive Humby, who was a British mathematician and entrepreneur, he said data is the new oil. It was like crude oil. Crude oil has to be refined. And after it is refined, then it can be processed and made useful. So you can have petrol or diesel or kerosene or cooking gas or whatever.
great
So,
analogy, great analogy.
so you see, you have here Facebook, all these millions and millions and billions of people who are on it, Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, all these, Google, they are processing your data. They are out to make profit. If somebody pays them, they will sell you the data. So have micro targeting. So if somebody wants to sell you a product, and a particular one, they'll know. Paresh Malakar, how old is he? He's a male. What is his religion? Where does he live? What are his buying habits? And you will suddenly get advertisements which are aimed at influencing your purchase decisions. Now, these people, like all businesses of their kind, they're completely amoral. They only want to maximize their profit. That is their goal. They're not here for doing good to humanity. They're not social, what should I say, social workers or anything of that kind. So it doesn't matter to them. They want more people to see the views. So if your post goes viral, it's good business for them. It doesn't matter whether what has been written is false, true, half true, hateful. So this is the business model. If this is the business model, you can imagine what is happening. So it is not just the new oil or the new gold. It has influenced, it has entered your brain. They are trying to anticipate your behavior without you knowing it. You think, oh, everything is fine. Now I don't have to remember anybody's birthday. I'll get it on Facebook. Now, if I've gone for a holiday with my family, I will share all the pictures and everybody will get to know. If I like a book, I like an article, I can share it. So the positive side, and it is free. It is free. I have to only pay for the internet connection, the internet service provider. After that, everything is free. So I feel very happy. You don't realize that you have become the product. You have become the service. And all these services are being given to you free because at some point of time, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Meta, that same thing as Facebook or Google, they can sell your information. They can sell your information. And we've seen there have been other films that have been shown. There was another, I talked about one documentary called The Social Dilemma. There's another documentary it was called The Big Hack, about how a particular company called Cambridge Analytica had misused the data for political purposes. And all this was happening in the run-up to the elections. So this is the point in brief. And I want to say something to you, Paresh Babu, and what has happened in the recent past. I want to tell you how the social media has been abused in the context of the killing of tourists in Pahalgam, in Kashmir, and the 4-day war with Pakistan. I want to talk a little bit about this if you will give me an opportunity. Do you want to frame a question or do you want me to continue?
No, you can continue, because you see, I'm just almost coming to end, because I have seen that is actually you have already explained these things. The head priest, then irrational person, spread of, you see, wrong information, hatred, all these kind of things. You have already explained those things. I have only last question to you. Now you can of course explain in detail about the Pahalgam thing here.
Just look at what happened. Some of the so-called mainstream media, the media channels, they went mad. They went berserk in spreading completely false, fake information. A war is going on. They're showing video games, war on video games. They're saying there's been a revolt against the army chief of Pakistan. They're saying India is going to soon capture Karachi port. I mean, in every war, we don't get information. Propaganda happens. So that is what has happened. And look at what happened after that. In this period, people are going berserk. I'm naming him because he's a Ahomia, and everybody.
Yes, I don't have any problem in saying that I'm ashamed of him. I can publicly say I'm ashamed of him.
Mr. Arnab Goswami
I'm
on
ashamed of him.
Republic TV shows a building in Istanbul in Turkey which has the name Congress, and says this is the office of the Congress Party.
Office of the Congress
Party. He withdraws that and he has to say, oh, one junior, some intern misled us. Mr. Arnab Goswami, on his own channel, he's interviewed on Donald Trump. Then he withdraws that. I mean, what do we say? Now, this is really.
All kinds of lies and fake things.
Let me give you two examples which make me ashamed as an Indian. I am a patriotic Indian. I believe that I am not a member of the Tukre gang, which has been I'm made out to be is in the social media. Just if I am critical of the government, is the government the people of the country? You know, if I am saying that I am critical of those who are in power in New Delhi or Guwahati or wherever, does that make me anti-national? Does that make me a Deshadrohi or Rashtradrohi? No, no, sir. I beg to say no. Two examples I'll give you and I'll conclude. Himanshi Narwal, young 26-year-old young woman, just barely for 1 week she has been married. She has gone on a honeymoon to Pahalgam with her husband, who's an officer of the Indian Navy, Vinay Narwal, where he is killed in front of her. And when she comes back home to Haryana, all the TV people, everybody surrounds her and asks her. And he said that I don't want the people to start blaming all Muslims, go after Muslims. I don't want people to go after all Kashmiris. After this happened, it was Kashmiri people, Muslim Kashmiris who helped her. So I said, why are you making this into a Hindu-Muslim issue? Terrorists have no religion. So they didn't like it. She was viciously attacked, viciously trolled. When another lady who is the widow of a former chief of the Indian Navy, I'm talking about Lalita Ramdas, she her and wrote an open letter, she was trolled. When Vaishna Roy, editor of the Frontline magazine, she published a tweet. She said that I don't like this Operation Sindoor. To me, it is patriarchy, etc., etc. You may not agree with the views, but she was so viciously attacked. She had to shut her Twitter account. She was abused. There were threats of rape. It was absolutely sickening. And that's not all. India's Foreign Secretary, Mr. Vikram Misri, who happens to be a Kashmiri Pandit, who is currently the senior most diplomat and senior most civil servant in the Ministry of External Affairs. He is the official spokesperson of the government of India. And he is giving statements on behalf of the government. They start trolling her family. He has to shut down his Twitter handle.
Yes, Twitter handle.
And then look at this. You have a minister of the BJP from Madhya Pradesh who describes another spokesperson of the government, the Indian Armed Forces, Sophia Qureshi, and suggests that her sisters were responsible.
Yes, terrorist.
It took some time, and only then a FIR has been registered. Nothing more.
Nothing.
Because Mr. Vikram Misri, what happened to him has not been condemned by Mr. Narendra Modi or the External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar. They lodge an FIR. What happens to another professor? Ali Khan Mahmoodabad of Ashoka University.
Ashoka University.
He's the head of the political science department, and he writes something on Facebook, and he's arrested. He's arrested and kept behind bars on the basis of a complaint made by the Haryana Women's Commission. And what was he saying? Why are you having double standards? Just because he's not an ordinary Muslim, he's an entitled Muslim.
Yes.
What is it that you don't like his family? You don't like his religion? You don't like the fact that his family members, his mother, his wife, they're not all Muslims? What is it? We have, and the social media, and I want to make this my concluding statement. The social media has been responsible for spreading Islamophobia, for creating a rift between two communities, And I feel ashamed as an Indian that our rulers, our prime minister, our home minister, our external affairs minister, they are not condemning this kind of trolling and disinformation and hatred on the social media. They are not condemning it in strong enough language. They're hardly condemning it, not at all, I will say. So this, in my opinion, makes me extremely sad as an Indian. And post Pahalgam and the 4-day war with Pakistan, I think the media in India has degenerated. You thought it was already bad, that it could not sink to lower depths.
And it's further, it has further gone down, further gone down.
Further.
Now, thing is, now my last concluding question, last question. You see, social media, people thought that social media would be liberating. It will actually, it will promote, say, freedom of expression. It will promote liberty. But what we have seen now, finally, that it has actually enslaved us. The social media has enslaved us. And you have very nicely explained what happened after the Pahalgam attack, terrorist attack, to what extent it has actually gone down, to what sickening extent it has gone down. Now, it's very difficult, but still, I would invite your thoughts on it. Now, what do we do? How do we actually survive in this age? How do we survive in this age?
Paresh
What do we
Babu,
do?
yeah, it's a very difficult question you've answered. I cannot suggest to people, don't, look at, don't use the internet, don't look at your phone. No, I think the best way is to spread awareness, educate people, young people, middle-aged people, elderly people. This is what the social media is all about. Understand it, understand its advantages, but also understand the disadvantages and the terrible misuse for propaganda, for political propaganda that is taking place. You yourself pointed out the internet was meant to strengthen democracy. The internet was meant to empower people. The internet was supposed to weaken the dictators and the authoritarian people. Instead, it has strengthened them. So I can say there is no way forward but to build awareness. In the US, there is bipartisan support that, these are two big monopolies, that they need to be broken up. So if Alphabet is a big monopoly, separate Google, separate Android, separate YouTube. If Meta is a huge monopoly, separate Facebook from WhatsApp to Instagram. They will obviously resist. But in the US, there is a history. Standard Oil was broken up. The telephone company that was set up by Alexander Graham Bell, that was also broken up into smaller components so that you ensure competition, so that you ensure that the consumer has a choice, that it is the monopolies are weakened. To what extent this will happen or not, I don't know. I'm not very hopeful that other.
You have made a very important point. I think we can actually end this conversation on that. That okay, state needs to intervene to break this monopoly. To break this monopoly, the state has a role to intervene so that they don't become very all embracing, all covering. So the state has a role to actually control them, to break them, and to actually so that they just cannot control everything. Even now, what is happening? These companies, these social media companies, they are controlling states. They are controlling the state head of the actually states. They are much more powerful than many head of the states. So that is one thing. I think that there should be an awareness, there should be a campaign, that there should be state control on these big monopolies. That is number one. And another thing I think you said, uh, you see, one needs to detoxify. So maybe at individual level, maybe we need to keep away from this social media at least at certain point of time. Maybe that's a
To clear up your brain.
yeah, clear up our brain and not to get influenced by it, but to think clearly, think independently. Maybe this detoxification, that is also very important. So it was really a very interesting discussion with you. Thank you very much. We'll come back, we'll again meet, we'll again have conversation on different subject and topic.
Thank you
It
so
is
much.
always it is always nice speaking to you, and we
So
do
much.
things in a very candid manner. Thank you very much.
My
Okay.
pleasure, Mr. Paresh Malakar. Best wishes to all the viewers of
Okay.
Northeast Now. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.